Are we live? We're live! Hello and welcome. I'm Susana Kennedy and I'm very excited because tonight we have a guest that is known as the pharmacist of the future, Dr.Hanan Selim.
When you ask the right questions, you get the right answers instead of being on autopilot. So I'm going to actually give you my 3 B's is my tip.
Welcome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm very well, thank you. Excited to be with you today, finally. Looking forward to our chat.
I am so excited that you're here today, and I actually am so excited I came across your work because I have been involved in doing very similar work actually to the work that you do, and I was thrilled to see the scientific backing that you've accumulated. And I think just to introduce yourself, I see there's people tuning in on Instagram and Facebook. Hello, and welcome. But if you can maybe just tell us a little bit about your work, just so that the people who have just logged in understand what it is you actually do.
Well, actually, I'm a healthcare professional. I've been in the industry for over 25 years. I'm actually a clinical pharmacist. I have my PhD in pharmacy. And of course, I worked at the most prestigious medical facilities in Manhattan. And I was actually your go-to chemo pharmacist. So actually, primarily was working with a lot of cancer patients. And I was the go-to pharmacist for the chemotherapy. And of course, we dealt with formularies, and I was on the something called P&T committee, which is a pharmaceutics and therapeutic committee, which is a very hard committee to get onto unless you have a lot of experience and recommendations from fellow colleagues. So needless to say, I'm very knowledgeable with the experience in healthcare. And I'll talk about a little bit about my story and how I got into hilology and all that in a minute, but it's quite interesting.
It's amazing because I think that you're one of the few people who bring science and the power of the mind and the power of intention together. And it definitely is the way of the future. I believe this with my whole body, heart, and soul. I believe that all have to be in alignment, mind, body, heart, and spirit, for true healing to happen. And so I was so excited to come across your work. To tell us a little bit about, I would love you to share how you got into this specific work. What led you there?
So like I mentioned, I was actually working at the medical facility, and I always saw our patients come in and leave. Patients who, like I said, had cancer, who would do so well, go into remission, and a few months later or a few years down the road, they would come back with vengeance, having something like 6 months to a year to live. Or obesity patients needing a ventilator because they couldn't breathe on their own because the weight was so bad. Diabetes patients who need amputation because of the gangrene and serious infections. So it's always in the back of my mind, like, why are we working at the best facilities, having the amazing resources, doing the exact protocols that our patients need, always coming back, their situation getting worse or temporarily having relief. And needless to say, fast forward, what I was mentioning earlier was quite interesting, is that at one point I became the patient. So I was on the other side of the bed, if you will, in the hospital, ready to go in for a procedure because I had precancerous cells in my ovaries, endometriosis, I was 30 kgs heavier, all the secondary chronic conditions. And I was laying there and the doctor walks in and he's telling me you need a hysterectomy. Now, at 38 years old and needing a hysterectomy, I knew that I would have to be on hormone pills and all this, being a healthcare professional, that a road that I really, really did not want to be on. So I asked, just give me some time. Of course, I went home and I started thinking all that time when I was thinking in the back of my mind, when I saw all these patients, why is that? What are we missing that's not coming up on lab results, on diagnostic tools, on x-rays, MRIs, and all that? And then it hit me. It's like, okay, Hanan, you have to now, it's hitting home. Now you need to start answering that question. What is happening? What is the root cause? What are we missing that we're not addressing? And of course, that led me on to a lot of research, delving into things like NLP, neuro linguistic programming, hypnotherapy, even energy healing. And I came up with, like you mentioned, there is always a connection between the mind and in the scientific research that I've done, the mind, brain, and the organ that we need to address. Because with conventional medicine, we're just dealing with the physical aspects. We're missing out on the mind and the brain, what is actually happening. And with the alternative, whether it be NLP, whatever alternative tools that we're talking about, we're always focusing either just on the mind. And there was nothing in between that brought the best of both worlds that I thought was actually a necessary need to address chronic conditions like cancer, diabetes, and all those leading chronic conditions that are actually killing millions of people every year.
Yeah. So, and is that where you delved in and found the connection and then started working with it on yourself?
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. And I delved in and I now have a whole chart and a whole, research, and I have whole graphs and everything of what the root cause is that always happens and starts in the mind, the story, if you will, that puts in the seed and allows it to grow and give those marching orders from the brain that directly affect that particular organ, hence leading the symptoms and the illness. And thank God I was able to do that. And I was, turns out, now it's part of my system, is that with things that have to do with the female organs, whether we're talking about the uterus, the ovarian cysts that I had, or even breast cancer, any of that sort, these are all reproductive organs, and reproductive organs have to be with reproduction, and usually is affected by the opposite sex. So whether we're talking about your husband, your brother, your father, your uncle, your grandfather, it's always going to be a traumatic somehow effect that's going to spin off this automatic marching orders, if you will, that's going to release certain chemicals to that particular organ and hence create the havoc in your health and well-being.
I agree with you, and I've seen it like 100%. So I love that you, as a person of medicine, of science, has been able to create those links. And I think you'll agree, and I think that's why you're known as a pharmacist of the future, but we're seeing more and more of this come out, across the world, around the world. People are waking up to the fact that we are not one-dimensional, that we are multi-dimensional, and that everything is connected. So you went on this healing journey of your own, and then you created this system. And this is so wonderful. And just for everybody that's tuned in, I want you to know that Hanan will be with us at the Empowered seminar, the summit that is happening on the 6th of August. She will be doing a full 45-minute presentation where you can learn so much. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about what you will be speaking about at the summit, just so that they get a grasp of what they are in for?
Yeah, so I will, spill the beans on the entire system. A lot of takeaway, food for thought, if you will, where people can just reflect on perhaps what road or journey that might be leading to health havocs or disease or illness, and be able to just perhaps nip it in the bud, or increase their focus, or increase their energy, increase their health and well-being or fitness. That all has to begin with, getting rid of that or preventing disease. I always say, or actually it's a common saying in the US, actually, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So there is no cure for a lot of these unfortunate chronic diseases, but prevention is the best cure. And I'll be giving a lot of tips and tricks, if you will, a lot of information that you could actually sit back and say, oh, okay, so this is why I'm having these headaches or these back pains, or what is these symptoms of that could lead to serious conditions. I could start, doing certain, and it's simple. There's simple things. I mean, it is a complex mind, brain, and organ connection that I talk about. It's a complex entity, but it's quite simple if you get to the root cause and heal that which is going to spin and get you into a cycle of a lot of painkillers and a lot of prescription pills and all that, and you just don't know, and you get lost, and you just depending and giving control to that which is out of your control to other healthcare professionals. Well, in essence, the best person that knows your body and your health and well-being is you.
Absolutely.
So might as well learn, understand your body and your mind, and be able to heal yourself.
Absolutely. Oh, I love this so much. It so resonates with everything within my being. You are going to be sharing 3 tips that people can take right now to empower themselves. What are your 3 tips?
Well, you mentioned earlier that that there's a lot of people out there, or there's a lot of research that's showing that this is actually the way of the future in healthcare, especially. And actually, I'm proud to say I stand on the shoulders of research like by Dr. Bruce Lipton, epigenetics. And this is one major point you need to understand. It used to be that we used to say that it's your genes that predisposes you to disease, when it's actually quite the contrary. It's your environment that you surround yourself physically, psychologically, that is going to predispose you to disease. So I actually have something in our system that we call chronic biodisruptors, and just what the title says. If you're going to continue being in an abusive relationship, or if you're going to be continuing to be, having this particular story from childhood or trauma, and you think that you're over it, you need to really revisit it, make sure you nuke it in the bud, if you will, because it's going to rear its ugly head way down in the future, and you're going to be lying there wondering, how did I get here? And then, of course, when you ask the right questions, you get the right answers instead of being on autopilot. So I'm going to actually give you my 3 B's is my tip, and I would recommend that everybody do these 3 B's. And the first B is actually called, I call it actually brain training. So in the morning, brain training, just like you go to the gym and train your muscles to get fit and healthy, you actually need to train your brain as well. And it's really simple. And what you do before you reach for that caffeine or the coffee in the morning, you stay 100 to 1 backwards, meaning count 100 to 1 backwards. Scientifically, it has shown to increase something called serotonin, your happy chemicals. It actually increases your mind's focus and energy, and releases what we call healing happy chemicals. So 100 to 1, 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, all the way to 1 releases it, and it sets you up to solve problems, become more creative, instead of dwelling in getting stuck, for example. And it gives you energy. And I've actually tried it on many different individuals, people who had some, the biting or the grinding at night with the teeth, because they're doing it unconscious. And when they did the 100 to 1, it relaxes the muscles, it makes you more relaxed, more focused, rather than tense and be lost in the world of to-do list, if you will.
Yes. Okay. So do you do that the moment you wake up? Do you start counting?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to try that. That sounds fantastic. I'm definitely going to try that.
And I would do it every day. And if for people who have a hard time sleeping, for example, you count from 100 to 1.5 hour before you go to sleep, and it relaxes you. And just like anything, it's within time. Just going to the gym one time, it's not going to give you those, amazing abs, right? You have to be continuing it, and you're going to really see the results within 30 days, the real full-blown results within 30 days. Okay. The
Really?
second the second B, of course, is breathing. And a lot of people who do meditation and yoga, they do, the regular breathing, but I call this the 6-6-6 breathing, meaning that you take in 6 breaths on the count of 6, you hold for 6, and you release on 6 or more. So what this does as well, just like the brain training, it takes in the nutrients or the oxygen to replenish the mind and the brain, and releases the negative energy, if you will, or the toxins or the carbon dioxide, and cleanses it. So again, with that tool, it also gives you the handle on situations of energy and focus. The thing is, which is quite interesting in the research, shows that between a negative thought and a positive thought is actually 3 seconds. And these tools allow you to hold on to the rails to get you out of these negative thinking, especially people who have tendency for depression, or with the COVID situation, people are becoming really
stuck in thought patterns, negative thought patterns, and negative thought forms, right?
Exactly. So that's another another tool. And the last tool is body. And a lot of people, when I say body, they say a physical exercise, but then we're talking here about the most crucial part of this program that we call the mind-brain-organ connection. Starts with the mind. And would you believe it, when you want to change your mindset, a lot of people go on this, meditating or trying to quiet the mind and all that. It's actually a lot simpler than that. And it's just moving of the body, hence the last B, meeting the body. So for example, if I'm sitting here at my desk, I'm starting to have negative thoughts, depression, or everything. So when you physically move the position of your body, you're actually moving or switching that thought pattern in your mind. So if you're sitting, you stand up. If you're inside, you go outside. If you're in the bedroom, go to the kitchen, get a drink of water. Just in that instance, like those 3 seconds, you take the opportunity to make a shift in your mindset.
I love that, and so true. And I've tried. I mean, I do breathing and the body. I've never done the counting from 100 to 1, but I'm 100% going to try it because it sounds fantastic. And I love that you framed it that between a negative thought and a positive thought, there's less than 3 seconds. So you just, guys, if you can get through 3 seconds, that is the difference between staying in a negative thought cycle and shifting to a positive thought cycle. And this is really, really important because so often it's just our monkey mind playing tricks on us, doing all kinds of things, and then we believe it instead of stopping and going, oh, is this true? Is this real for me? Is this actually my reality? So these are great tools. I love them. They are so empowering. Thank you for sharing them with us, Hanan. You are, so for those of you who have just joined us, Dr.Hanan Selim is with us. She is the pharmacist, known as the pharmacist of the future. Her work is profound and really speaks about the brain thought organ connection and how we can actually self-heal ourselves when we understand this connection and how to work with it. I am so excited about your talk. I can't wait to hear it. I really, really am, because
thank you. I'm so excited to be there.
Oh, it's so wonderful. And for those of you who have just tuned in, Empowered is our online summit, which is happening. I have teamed up with Future Females Foundation and Future Females to bring you a summit filled with people that are giving of their time and even more to empower you so that we can empower others. Every cent that is made at the summit is going to go to building a safe house and rebuilding a community center called Pakama in Gugulethu here in Cape Town townships. So we are so excited because this is so desperately needed at the moment. They provide so much hope and they need the support. Hanan, what made you say yes? I know that Lauren actually found you and she said, I got Dr. Hanan. I was like, yay! And I know she contacted you and said, will you speak at the summit? What made you want to be a part of the summit?
So I'm already, I'm very passionate about, helping others, especially empowering people with their health and well-being, and not be so helpless and depending on outside resources, whether it be medical or alternative and things like the sort, and to empower everyone to take back control over their health and well-being and ultimately their life. So of course, when they contacted me, Empowerment Future Females, and they were saying just the word, they had me at hello when they said empowerment of women, female entrepreneurs and future creating this safe house to help women who might be unfortunate, don't have a way to get out of a situation for her or her family. And of course, as soon as I heard that, I'm all about paying it forward and ensuring the quality of life of others, and of course making this world a better place one step at a time.
I love that, ensuring the quality of life for others. It's so important that each and every one of us be the change we wish to see in this world. And I know I say this all the time, so my listeners have heard me say it a million times, but it's because I invite you all to take action. Registration for this summit is 100% free. You can log on. You can really invest in yourselves during that time. And then when you are called to something, when you are called or connected to an individual speaker, I ask that you invest even further in yourselves by buying their program, because you will not only be empowering yourself, you will be empowering hundreds of people at the same time, which is just such a beautiful win-win situation all round. And Hanan, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I have been working with Pakama for almost 10 years now, and we finally are at the point where we can buy the property and rebuild it. And so the Future Females and all of you beautiful speakers who have come on board are really making a dream of mine come true as well. So I wanted to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this and for being here today and sharing these wonderful tips that people can take action with straight away.
Well, I want to thank you actually, because it's amazing, and people like you and the organization that you guys have formed just for the purpose of making it an opportunity for women who might feel stuck or unfortunate situations. That my hat goes off to you guys, because you're doing amazing work, very wonderful, and I wish many more people who are like you and joining your initiatives and be able to move the handle, if you will, or to be able to help others in any situation. I mean, just a smile, I always say, really makes the day for someone else who might not be having an excellent day. And you to go out and be doing this amazing initiatives. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You are doing such incredible work. And I mean, I feel so lucky. I think I'm going to be exhausted by the end of it, because I'm just going to be watching every single talk that happens, because there's such beautiful people who have offered to be a part of this, which I'm just thrilled about. Thank you.
Thank you. And amazing listeners are on your show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, all of you amazing listeners today. I'm sending you so much love and light. Please remember to register for the Empowered Summit. The link is in my bio if you're on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, in the actual description of this interview, I will put the link for you there. Please also remember to invite your friends, your family, your distant cousins, just anybody that you know, so that we can empower as many people as possible, and tag people underneath here. Share this with as many people as possible. A Course in Miracles, and this is so important, teaches that a change in perception, a change in understanding creates a miracle in your life. The reason why I do these shows is that you understand that the impossible is possible. If Dr. Hanan could heal herself and is now helping hundreds and thousands of people to do the same, if I could heal myself, then what can you do for yourself? Believe in yourself. And the only way to do that is to take action, take the steps forward, educate yourself, empower yourself, because that will lead you to your true destiny. Sending you all so much love and so many blessings. Dr. Hanan, please don't go anywhere. I'm going to log off from everybody else. Bye for now, guys.